We just got 2 new favorite things that we're going to be keeping in the Airstream at all times, and I want to tell you a little bit about them, before we start writing in them. So first I'm going to tell you about this atlas. Now, if you are like us and you disperse camp, you know that you're not always going to have internet connection. In fact, when you don't have cell phone service, that's when you know you're doing it right. And this is a great reference to have just whenever you need to kind of look around and see what's around you. This atlas is by Benchmark Maps. And it has regional maps, recreation guides, landscape maps, and an index. Now this atlas focuses in on Southern Appalachia, and this is where we are frequently off-grid. Now what I like about the recreation maps is it doesn't just have all the recreations that are around in a certain region, but it also gives you like a climate resource. And then it has pretty much everything you really want to know while you're out in the middle of nowhere, where you might be able to find your next camping ground, where you might be able to go off-roading, where you might be able to go fishing, where you might be able to go hiking, and where you might be able to go dump as well. That's important. There's also information about hunting, if that's your thing, and also the national parks and state parks that are in the area. And no, it doesn't have every little recreation area or every little attraction. There are a few on here missing that we know of, and honestly, that just lets us know that we've been doing camping right. And it's also why we grid our area. We go to one little square of an area and we try and explore everything in that area, because you never know what you're going to find on a back road somewhere. Usually it's good things. Oh, and it does also include elevation profiles, which can also be super helpful if you're trying to predict your weather in a certain area. And it does deep dives into certain areas, like for instance, here's the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it tells us what you can expect from each milepost. Now for landscapes, now you're not going to be able to see every single teeny tiny road, but they do seem to include the names of the roads that are definitely landmarkers that we've used. So that is helpful, as well as some of the more well-known mountains in that area. They also will give you an idea of the population size by how big of a font they use for each little town. Now that we've gone over this lovely atlas, I'm going to move on to the logbook that we got. So this logbook has a space for you to create your own little index, which is very useful and helpful. And then each log will have a spot for you to log your GPS, your altitude, all those things that you kind of need to know, if you're going to have a Wi-Fi signal or not, if there's a website you can look at, the maximum stay, which is super helpful. You can check off your amenities are in that area, and some places you can get like this and this, which seems to be always what we're looking for. Those things that you hope you don't need to know, but it's good to know where they are. And then also you can paste some of your own pictures and take some notes. I'm really looking forward to going back over some spaces that I have pictures of. I took down the GPS coordinates. They're on my iCloud somewhere, and writing those down, because they're places that I want to go back and visit. We just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So super helpful, especially since we're looking to do our own grid mapping of areas in Southern Appalachia. We want to explore every square inch of this area, and having our own little personal way of logging it that is analog is going to be super helpful for us, since these are areas of the world that are pretty untouched. Not completely untouched, but pretty untouched, and using analog is often the only way you can resource information. Now, as a reminder, we also log these trips on our Patreon, and so look for that soon. We will soon be putting those hard to find spaces on Patreon, as well as a review to let you know everything you need to know about those spots before you head out to them. And as always, we ask you to please tread lightly and leave no trace. And if you see Sasquatch, ask him for directions.